Good morning everyone, or whenever you're watching this. Maybe it's nighttime, I don't know. I'm really excited to do this video. I've wanted to do this for a while, but I thought a new year would be a great time to let you guys know all of the manga that I want to prioritize finishing my collections of them, or either unhaul them if I do not want to continue collecting them for the year of 2024. I have a lot more series on my shelves that are not on this list, but I compiled 15 series that I want to put more effort this year into finishing that collection. If you're wondering what's up with my mug, this was not a dishwasher safe mug. It was a cute, like, My Hero mug. You can kind of see the logo is still partially there, and we dishwashed it and I didn't realize until after that. So it's seen better days, but you know, we learned our lesson not to get mugs that we can't dishwash because I can't be bothered to hand wash dishes anymore. Let's get into the video. I hope you guys enjoy. These are in no particular order. I just compiled a list of series that I want to prioritize. The first one is A Tropical Fish Yearns for Snow. This series is only 9 volumes long, so there's really no excuse as to why I have not finished completing this one yet. It's just been on the back burner. It's one that I pick up very rarely, every few months, and I only have 2 volumes left, so I'm hoping to finish that very soon if my orders don't get canceled that I just recently placed. Hopefully that'll be finished within the month of January, and I can tell you guys my final thoughts on the series in a wrap up. I think that'd be really cool. It's a very soft series, very short, very slice of life, but also a little bit of drama involving these 2 girls. I see a lot of people label this as a GL, but I have no idea if it actually is. I've read up to volume 7 and there has not been any romance necessarily, so I don't know if I consider it that. You could though. I could see that implication being there. We'll see how the last 2 volumes go, but it's still a really sweet friendship story if nothing else, and I absolutely loved it. Want to finish this one for sure to have in my collection forever. Next is Children of the Whales. This series is just finished completing, I believe. I think it's in the 20s and maybe 22, 23. I'll put the number somewhere on the screen so that you can see. Just started this one fairly recently, so I'm not as upset that I have not completed it. It's a larger print and it's a shoujo, but it's not a romance. It's like a fantasy. I consider it kind of mystery-esque. I love it so far. I have 2 volumes that I've completed and it's so beautifully drawn. The story is captivating. I am so intrigued with why this world works the way that it does and why this group of people are on this mud whale. I don't understand what's happening, and I really hope that throughout the series we get answers and that there is definitely something dark going on here. And I'm just so interested in our main characters and the fighting that they have to do. It's so beautiful. Like, the artwork for this series is phenomenal, and if you have not checked it out, I recommend you at least read a couple chapters. If you ever go into a bookstore and you see it on the shelves, just give it a try. I am hooked and I want to find the rest of them, but I do tend to pick this one up used, so I've just got to make a priority to do that this year. Number 3 is Delicious in Dungeon. This series is about to get an anime, if I am correct. I'm pretty sure I remember hearing that being announced. I'll put the announcement date that they currently have here on the screen so you can see if you're interested in that. It's a series about this group of travelers who raid dungeons, kind of like a fantasy setting, and they meet a guy who I think is a dwarf, and he tells them, hey, instead of going up and down to get supplies and then come back down and then start over and go back and forth when you run out of supplies, how about we cook the animals and creatures and things that we find down here in the dungeon to survive instead, and grow our own crops and everything. And they're like, what? And they have a friend that's abducted. That's the reason they're down there. They're looking for this person. He teaches them how to survive in the dungeons, and so they can go further. And really interesting. I love gourmet manga, especially when it's creative. I do wish that they gave like a substitute in the back of the book for meats that you can use in some of these recipes, because there's a couple that looked really good. I am a little sad that I can't ever eat this food, but it's so beautiful and I love food art. Little known fact, when I was in art school for graphic design, I entered some digital paintings of food and I actually won awards for them. So it's really fun to see other people draw food, and I like to draw food. I really enjoy a good food manga. If you've got food manga recommendations, let me know in the comments. Next on this list is Demon Slayer. I have, I think, 12 or 13 volumes of this one currently, so I don't have a whole lot left to pick up. I just haven't. I think it's because I know it's not going to be really hard to find in the future. I just absolutely love the art style for this series, manga and anime, and I want to keep it on my shelves. It's very woodblock printing, old style, sketchy. I love it. I love it so much, and I do love the series. We watch the anime primarily, but I want to own it physically and then read through the whole thing once we finish the anime. So that's the goal, is to finish it by the time that the anime is finished, which we still seem to have a while. But I do need to finish collecting it at least. I don't have too far to go, so I think that one is reachable and they're a good price, so I'm not worried about that one as much. Number 5 on this list is Fourrde Prints. This is a 4-volume series, I believe. It's an old Del Rey print. I don't really hear people talking about it, but I found it randomly at a used bookstore / game store in a town nearby that I go to frequently looking for off-the-wall manga, and they had volumes 1 and 2, and so I just need to get 3 and 4, or number 3, whichever one's the last one. I believe it's 4, and they're very cheap even though it's way out of print and the company that printed it is out of business. I think it's cute. I think it's a fun, weird high school romance, and it involves a guy in glasses, and I like guys in glasses, so why not? Number 6 on this list is Heaven. This is by the same artist as a series that I love called Love Attack. That series did not finish publishing in English, and this one did, but it's only 3 volumes. So I want to give it a good shot. I have volume 1 and 2. Yeah, I have volumes 1 and 2. I've already read volume 1. I'm gonna have to reread it though. It's about a guy and a girl. The girl can see like spirits and ghosts, I think, and the guy turns into a monkey god, and I think it's a romance between the two, but it sounds like there's a lot going on for it to only be 3 volumes. So I'm gonna get all 3 before I fully judge it and see if I like it and I want to keep it. But I did love Love Attack so much that I want to try more manga by this artist if I can find them in English printed. So this is my first attempt at that, so I just need to pick up the 3rd volume. Next up on the list is Honey So Sweet. I have read 1 through 5 of this series, and it is a 8-volume series, so if my orders don't get canceled, because I've had a couple canceled lately, I will have this completed by the end of January. I'm so excited. It's a cute series, y'all. It's underappreciated, I think. It's just about this couple who, they're very cute and young and sweet. If you want to go by the title, Honey So Sweet, it is the sweetest manga couple I think I've ever read. We've got a girl who is pretty shy and she's not really been in a meaningful relationship before, and then the guy who is misunderstood because he kind of looks scary and punkish. It gives a little bit of emo-koi vibes with the guy, but just the vibe, not personality or anything like that. I do really like what I've read so far. I will reread the whole thing once I get the last 3 because it has been so long since I've read it, and I want to make sure that I get like a good representation of what the series entails. But it's just so cute. I do recommend this one. I know this isn't really a recommendation video, but it's really cute and it's really short, and I'm excited to finally complete it in my collection. Next up is Interviews with Monster Girls. I have a few volumes already on my TBR shelf, and I've read 1 through 4 of the series, but I don't have the 5th one. And there's a couple of the ones at the end. I think it has 11 or 12 volumes total. I have to pick up the last couple. It's so hard to find volume 5 for some reason. I don't know what the issue is, and I think one of the other volumes is going to be pretty difficult. I guess they just didn't print as many, or like, I don't know. I just had trouble finding volume 5 for a reasonable price, or even at all. I remember looking a couple weeks ago and there was nothing. Like, I couldn't find a single copy of it anywhere, not even for $100. That's wild to me to not find anything for sale. And I always look at used bookstores hoping I'll find it, but it's such a hard and rare series to find physically. Not many people read it locally, I guess. I watched the anime years ago and fell in love with it. I think it's a really interesting idea. It just kind of cuts off in the anime, and so I wanted to read the whole story, and it does end up being a romance between 2 teachers, and they're in a world where monster people exist. So it's like, one girl's a Doulahan, so her head is detached from her body. One girl is an ice woman, so she like is cold and has ice stuff. and the other one's a vampire. It's just really cool and fun. I get how the beginning could give off like weird, creepy teacher vibes, but it does, I think, turn into a regular teacher-teacher romance. I believe that's the route we're going, but I do want to complete it because I did really find the anime very charming. Wish me luck on that one, because that one's gonna be kind of difficult to locate, I believe. But if I can find it at retail, I would be happy, but I always shoot for less than retail, especially with the out of print or old series. This next one on the list is pretty long, so I've got a long way to go in collecting. Love and Lies. This series has recently come onto my radar, and I absolutely am entranced with the idea of this world we're in. We have a guy who is about to turn 16. When you turn 16, they send you like a letter, or they have someone come to you, or they send you a text or something with the name of your person, like your soulmate, like they've done studies and blah 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 blah, and they know who you should be with, and they expect you to marry and have kids with this person. So he gets his letter, and it's not the person he's in love with, which is really unfortunate due to things that happen in the beginning. He has to be with this person, or if he decides to go against the government, there are repercussions, even though those have not really been explained. I'm very interested as to what that means. But it's like 13 volumes, and then there's 2 final volumes, so I guess you get both endings with the girl he actually likes and then the girl that he, I think, starts to fall for, that's his government partner. It's like a love triangle or a rectangle, I don't know, but it's very messy, it's very fun. I love a good otome style kind of game, and I love a harem sometimes if it's interesting. So I'm really interested in how this series is gonna go. I loved Shuffle when I was a kid in high school. I don't know why, I just absolutely love the idea of that, and this gives me Shuffle vibes. I'm excited to continue it eventually, and I do find the volumes fairly cheaply online. Number 10 on the list is Oku The Inner Chambers. What a series. I have only read the first volume, and I knew from that point that I would love it. I have been collecting some of the volumes here or there when I find them less than retail, and putting them on my TBR shelf. I have volume 10, I have like 1 through 5 or something like that, and then that's it. And I know that it goes up to like 20 or something, and it just finished. So I do know that it is possible to complete this series, and hopefully the volumes aren't like crazy hard to find now. But I do need to prioritize it before they do, because something in my little brain here tells me that this series is gonna be really difficult to find in like 6 years. I have to make an effort to do that. I'm going to, because I don't want to miss out on this. If you don't know, Oku The Inner Chambers is a series about a alternate version of historical Japan, where men get a disease. For some reason it only affects men, that starts killing them off. So men become very rare, and women start running the world, or running the country, and becoming like higher members of society and running everything. That's all they know, is that part of history. Someone in the book starts questioning, why do we have men's last names even though we're run by women? And she's digging into the history of that. So it's very interesting, some of the differences that the creator decided to make when a woman runs the country versus a man. And then it's interesting how nothing has changed at all. So I really have enjoyed this. The only hard issue with this series is the language that is used whenever you're reading it. It's very old style writing, and I could see someone being turned off. So if you're curious, maybe pick this one up and read the first chapter before you purchase it, because I could totally understand someone being turned off by the way that the language within it. I have to really focus when I'm reading this one because of the way that it's written. But it is a very good and very compelling story. Next up is Parasite. This is a classic horror series that is absolutely one of my favorite and more memorable horror series that I've ever read. It's an older one that has recently been put into the spotlight and given its time to shine, which I'm so thankful for. There are video games that are based off of this manga. There are so many other mangaka who have drawn inspiration from this series, and it's just so good. The anime is phenomenal. I made my husband watch it and he loved it too. It's so good and so creepy and like despairing. Like, you talk about a really hard-hitting horror series, but it's sci-fi also, so it's like involving aliens and like slicing and dicing people. It's so good, and I only have up to like volume 4 of it, even though I know how it ends, so I've just got to prioritize picking it up. It's not expensive, it's not hard to find. I just haven't done it yet. Number 12 on this list is a oldie but a absolute favorite in my collection that I started collecting very, very young. One of the first two series, I think this was my second one I ever picked up. Ranma Half by Rumiko Takahashi. I absolutely love Rumiko Takahashi's work. She's my favorite mangaka as of this moment. This series is very important to me. I think it helped develop my favorite tastes in manga. It has action, it has romance, it has a lot of comedy, a lot of slapstick comedy. I have quite a bit of it in my collection already, but there's a lot that I'm missing. And this is a series that was printed a couple different ways, and I want a very specific edition, and they're the ones that are printed like English books. So it's kind of weird reading it that way, but I already have so many of them that I don't want to switch to the 3-in-1s. But this series means a lot to me. It's about a guy named Ranma, and he has a fiance that he's supposed to marry named Akane, and his father and him fall into different springs that like are cursed. So if he gets splashed with water, he turns into a girl, and his dad, he gets splashed, he turns into a panda. And there's a lot of other people who turn into random things, and it's so fun. I love this series. It's wild. It's one of the more iconic Rumiko Takahashi works, I believe, next to Inuyasha, of course. And I hope that I can finish it this year. But there are so many volumes. I think it gets up to like 40 or something. I'm not sure exactly how many there are in this edition, but it's wild. I kept looking them up and looking them up. I was just gonna get them all in one day at one point when I had a good bit saved up, but it was so long that I couldn't do that. So you'll see me collecting a couple volumes here and there when they pop up for an affordable price. But there are some of this series that are like $70. I can't justify that even if it was the last one on my list. The most I'll pay for a used manga is probably like 20 bucks. And that's pushing it because these volumes aren't in exactly great condition. So for me to pay more than $20 for something, like, it would have to be the best series in the world. I'm sorry. I'm too cheap for that. Next on the list is Shinobi Life. This is a new series that I've started reading. I have up to volume 4 now, and I've been enjoying it. It's just a very fun romance read about ninja and this girl who he protects and their forbidden love. I've just started reading volume 2 this morning, so I'm actually really enjoying it. It's like a 13 volumes long series. I got this recommendation from a video that Colleen made, so I do recommend that you go watch that video. I think it was the one that was like birthday recommendations. I'll put the thumbnail right here so you can see what I'm talking about. They discussed a lot of really interesting manga in that video, and this is one that I took from that video and have been enjoying so far. So I would like to prioritize collecting that one this year since I'm already on a roll for it. I have found that a couple of the volumes are fairly expensive, but not so expensive that I'm not willing to shell out that money for them. They're older Tokyo Pop, but I just have this weird fascination and obsession with older shoujo series. I just think that's my niche. I think that my favorite thing is like the older shoujo series that were just glossed over, or maybe they didn't get the proper recognition that they deserved at the time. So number 14 on this list is Waiting for Spring. If you know, you know. I've had this series in my collection for years now, and I only have up to volume 7. Don't ask me why I have not bought more of this. It just slips my mind. I love the series. I want to collect more of it. It's not the most phenomenal shoujo out there, but I do love it. I like it a lot, and it's the only sports shoujo that I have enjoyed so far. Usually I get turned off by sports. I don't know what it is. I've just never enjoyed them as a person, except for when I was very young, and I guess I just don't like reading about them either. So anytime a romance is based around a sport, I'm very hesitant to even try it. So this one I actually have liked because it doesn't focus on basketball, but it does involve basketball, and I like the romance between the guy and the girl, how it's blossoming. It's very cute. The friendship between the boy group that's in the game together are really sweet. I like all those characters. I think it's 13 or 14 volumes long. I just haven't prioritized it. So that is definitely something I am going to finish this year. I'm dang determined to finish that one this year. And the last one on this list is Yona of the Dawn. I am bad. This series has gone through reprints, and I still have not picked up more than 3 volumes. I love it. I know that I'm going to absolutely kick myself in the butt if I do not collect this series, because I just know it's going to be hard to find. I wish they would do a box set. I would sell off my 3 volumes and just pick that up. But we all know how rare it is for anyone to do a shoujo series box set. It's very rare. I think Oron is one, and there might be one other, but yeah, Blackbird, but that's the only two I know of, and they just don't care. They don't care about the demographic enough to do that. They don't think it'll sell well enough, and I'm very upset about that because Yona is just so well beloved with all demographics. I think everyone likes Yona, and I want to collect it in full, but my gosh, waiting for reprints and thinking about buying it, like I struggle with remembering series when I'm filling my cart. And I have to prioritize what I want to get on that run because I'm not going to spend $600, $700 at a time buying manga just to get every volume of everything I need at the same time. I pick and choose what I'm going to get. And when I buy used manga, which is a good portion of my collection, I have to look for Yona because the only ones at the store are like random volume 2 and then a 36 and then maybe the new volume, and that's like it. So I don't have luck finding these in the store, but I think I have to start buying them when I do see them, regardless of where I'm getting it, because I don't want to miss out. And if it is the newest volume, I'll just pay retail for it so that I have it in my collection. But the older volumes, I've got to find them, and some of them have gotten through reprints, so it's not going to be too difficult. It's just literally remembering to pick it up. I know I'm gonna love this. It's everything I like in a shoujo. It's beautiful art, romance, fantasy, mystery, like there's some thrilling moments in it, and so I know I'm gonna love it. I just haven't done it yet, but I like the first 3 that I've read, so it is really good. Anyways, you guys, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for watching. Hi, Yang, say hello. Say hello to everyone. I have been off work for like a long time, and I have been really enjoying working on manga content, spending time with my son, and reading a lot of manga and books. It's just been a really enjoyable time off from work, and I'm very thankful for that. I'm gonna be sad when I have to go back, but I do gotta earn money to buy manga, so you know, it is what it is. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Remember to comment, like, and subscribe. No, not kisses. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.